Barret Edelstein here, your celeb expert and your Celeb Savant. Celeb Savant is a weekly entertainment show. We have long-form career retrospective type interviews with celebrities, singers, actors, and industry experts. Up next on Celeb Savant, I'll be speaking to Ziggy Alberts. Ziggy is an Australian singer-songwriter, and he's best known for his studio album Laps Round the Sun, which peaked at number 2 on the ARIA charts for Australian artist albums in November 2018. Up next on Celeb Savant, we've got Ziggy Alberts. Where are you actually?
So I'm on the Sunshine Coast, in Queensland, Australia.
But like right now, you're outside by the beach, or?
I'm just actually sitting on the I'm literally sitting on the back bench of my van.
Okay. Ziggy, thanks for your time today. But let's sort of take it all the way to the beginning. What got you into creating music?
So I was pursuing writing, like kind of creative, like surf journalism. Yeah. I was actually pursuing that from a really young age. I was pursuing that from a really young age, maybe like 13. So I always loved writing, creative writing, but I didn't actually pick up music or didn't start playing guitar until I graduated school. In school, I just did 2 maths, 2 sciences, and the creativity wasn't really there, at least in my schooling. I guess that everything to do with music has been an extension of my love for writing and creative expression and social commentary, and hopefully continued togetherness through music. You know, that's the stuff that really, that I've identified kind of drove me all along. And it's also kind of, it's the way you can express yourself in perhaps words that you wouldn't be able to say any other way. So that's where music started, and I was kind of encapsulated by music from the moment I started, and it just progressively took more and more of my life until, 9 years ago was my last time I had a job working behind a counter at a coffee shop. And I've been a musician ever since.
Did you always know that you could sing?
No, I had relatively okay pitch, but no, I enjoyed singing as much as anyone else when you go to a club and sing along as a teenager at parties. But I think I discovered it probably around the time I graduated, was when I really didn't plan it. It sounds ridiculous, but it was actually my parents who bought me a guitar, and I was more pursuing writing. I was more pursuing creative, like surf journalism. And when the guitar came along, more and more of my writing became focused into music,
That transition from the surf journalism into the music, was it a difficult transition or easy for you?
I think it was easy. It was the right place for me. It was the right way to go. The surf journalism stuff was awesome, perhaps lacks some of the real depth that I have with music, so it was a natural progression. Looking back now, it's kind of hard to imagine if I took that path at the time. I feel like it has been a really natural progression of my writing, and it's so part and parcel with surfing, I guess. And so I never lost my involvement in surfing. Like, I went to tour places where there was surf, which is quite counterintuitive to a lot of, I guess, musicians. But music was my way to see the world and to go surfing and adventure in different places into nature. And so I kind of feel like I have the best of both worlds now, for sure.
Creating from 0 to 4 minutes of a song, what is that process for you? Is it different each time? What inspires you?
Well, I can think of Rewind, for example, the recent single that we just brought out, the latest and last single off the new album, Dancing in the Dark. That was me. I was sitting on the couch and I was listening to Banks. She's this she's like almost like gothic pop, and she's got this beautiful stripped back song called Someone New by Banks.
Okay.
And it's this beautiful kind of contemporary modern jazz song, love song. And I literally, this is quite, new age, but I literally was like, I need to learn some jazz chords. This was only earlier in the year, and I just went on and I decided to try and learn some simple jazz chords on YouTube. And that was the start of how Rewind was born. I often will have two separate things that happen. One is an event in life for me, or an observation in life, in my world, in my travels, in myself. And the second part is, and neither of them one before the other, it just depends. Separately, I'll be toddling away on the guitar and start forming a melodic story with the guitar, and then somewhere those two converge. But if you ask me how those two things converge, I really don't have an answer. It's truly still mysterious to me, and that's quite nice to have something so close to you that is also mysterious.
And when you do your writing, is it solitary or do you collaborate with other writers?
I've done very little collaboration to date. I've done two particularly noted pieces of writing. One was with a rap duo from inner West Sydney called Horror Show, and they wrote two new verses for one of my songs called Heaven. And aside that, I worked with Donovan Woods from Canada, and I sent him one of my songs, lyrics, and the whole song kind of thing. And I asked him if he would put his touch on it, and he rewrote some of the melody, and he kept all the lyrics as they were because he actually loved them. And he turned that song from something okay to something really special, and that song was called "The Sun and the Sea." So as far as for real writing sessions, like proper crazy writing sessions, I actually have done zero. I've been primarily, have written all my work and performed at least the singing and the guitar playing, performed myself. There's by no means am I willing to take away the credit of the amazing people I produce with and their instrumentation and because I'm not a multi-instrumentalist. I play, a bit of piano, a bit of banjo, and a bit of guitar. But as far as writing the song and writing the melodies, that's been me. That's to date, looking 10 years into songwriting, that's been a solo adventure for me.
And would you like to collaborate with other artists down the line?
For sure. I think it would come down to the intention of that person and what we were trying to create. I'm not really fond of the idea of creating a sort of song that gets put together that's just got nice words and a nice melody, and it's I guess what I'm trying to say is there has to be a reason. Like, we have to inspire each other, and I want to look up to them as an artist and not just do it for the sake of making a song, because that's different to telling a story.
Yeah.
Making a song, it's not. I don't believe songs that matter are Lego pieces. They're not just Lego pieces. They've got to have heart, and I'm open to totally collaborating, and there is undoubtedly room to collaborate. The collaboration I did with Donovan Woods recently was a real telltale of how he added his heart to that song, and I would look forward to doing that for sure. Particularly with international artists, I think is a really beautiful way of melding worlds together. I think what Mumford and Sons did with with Bubble Ma and The Very Best, they did an EP together. Mumford and Sons, when they came out across South Africa, they did this beautiful EP, and it's an amazing song they did called "There Will Be Time."
Yeah.
And that was a beautiful blend of culture and the world of Mumford and Sons and the world of The Very Best. And I think it's Bubble Ma, if I'm pronouncing it right. These guys, that was one, I think is one of the most beautiful examples of particularly cultural collaboration between, artists from two different continents.
Tell us, have you been to South Africa before, or is this your first time coming through?
First time, and it's out of the blue. It's really like the opportunity came up, and this was only maybe 6 weeks ago at best. And so that's been really like a beautiful surprise. I really didn't think I'd make it. If you asked me if I was going to play shows in South Africa this year, I really wouldn't have guessed it. And I also have had really great radio support this last couple of years in South Africa, and have had really great journalism support these last couple of years through the lockdowns and everything. And in that sense, I've been really beautifully surprised, and that's why to already have one of the shows sold out and to be coming there in a couple of weeks, to be honest, it kind of blows my mind. It really does.
You're obviously popular in Australia and a little bit in South Africa. Have you toured the rest of the world?
I have been touring internationally on and off for about 7 years now. The first time I went to Europe, I did a house show tour around Europe.
Yeah.
in like a camper bus kind of thing, and did all these little shows. And I went to North America for the first time in 2018.
Okay.
Um, and I have been really, I'm truly mind blown. You know, like I'm sitting in my little cul-de-sac at home. Looking over at my little, um, 50 plus year old beach shack that I live in, and so I have this really quiet world here. And then I just got back from the weekend of playing, you know, two back-to-back shows of 1,500 people. So, each night. And so there is a really crazy. It's amazing, but a really crazy. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like a uh, the the polarity of the two worlds, the dichotomy of the two worlds is quite hilarious. It's like one minute I'm sitting here, my neighbors are walking past, and all the kids that play on the street, like that are all out here, like all my neighbors that hang out on the street. And then, this next couple of weeks, I'll be going to playing two more shows, playing a festival, going to Portugal, recording at Abbey Road, and then coming to South Africa for shows. Like, so I have these two lives. One's very simple, and one's the one of world touring.
Well, you said you put intention into your writing, so it's obviously getting out to all the people and they're resonating with it. So that's a good thing.
It's about 7 years ago, I really had to sit down. I felt I hit this point, and it was like I was 21 or 22, and I was like, what exactly am I doing here? And I think to cultivate a space where people come together and commune in song and dance and feel celebrated in their differences, and that's what I'm out to do. That is what music is about for me. It's about togetherness, and it's an overused word, but it's about community and it's about togetherness. And that's been front of mind for a very, very long time, playing music to all people, all walks of life, and coming together and breaking down the various historical and cultural boundaries that we have and our predispositions, and being together even though it's just one night at a time. That's been my purpose for a long time, is music for togetherness, music for people.
When you're performing, I'm the person who likes to be right in front at the concerts, and everyone around me has got their cell phones out, recording, trying to get the perfect video, perfect picture. And it's frustrating for me. What's your opinion about that?
How do I feel about it? In one way, I'm thankful and I understand, but I'll give you one of my favorite moments. I was doing a walkthrough song through the concert from one stage to another stage. And I come to the chorus where I stopped in the middle of the crowd, and I'm standing across from this girl. She's only like a couple meters away, and we're facing each other. And she closes her eyes and just bangs out the chorus. And she didn't reach for her phone. We're like 2 meters apart. She didn't reach for her phone. She literally closed her eyes and just like sung the chorus with me. And I was like, whoa. And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
For me, that connection is beautiful. And on that note, I'm getting the hey, you gotta stop being a chatty guy and get onto the next one. Well, it'd be lovely to meet you, and I'm really, really, truly looking forward to it. Thank you as well.
Bye.
Thank you.